The sky above Navaris Prime shimmered in shades of violet and gold, a world shaped by advanced technology and ancient war. Floating cities hovered silently above endless metallic plains, powered by energy cores that pulsed like artificial hearts. It was a planet built on strength, on power, and those who ruled it wore armor not just for protection, but as a symbol of dominance. Among them stood Commander Eric Voss. Known across star systems as the Unbreakable, Eric was more than a soldier. He was a living weapon. His armor, forged from adaptive nanometal, responded to his thoughts, his emotions, even his instincts. It made him faster, stronger, almost invincible. But power always comes with a price, and Eric had been paying it for years. Princess Lyara of Navaris was nothing like the warriors who served her kingdom. She was sharp, intelligent, and ruthless in a way that didn't require weapons. Where others fought with blades, she fought with words. And her words cut deeper than any blade. Eric stood before her in the Grand Council chamber, his armor gleaming under the cold white lights. Around them, advisors and generals argued over war strategies, their voices echoing off the high steel walls. "The outer colonies are failing," one general insisted. "We need to send reinforcements." "We've already stretched our forces thin," another countered. Lyara sat at the head of the chamber, her gaze unwavering. Then she spoke. "Commander Voss will handle it." Silence fell instantly. Eric didn't move. "Alone?" one advisor asked cautiously. Lyara nodded. "He's more than capable, isn't he?" All eyes turned to Eric. He stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. "With respect, Your Highness, the colonies are under siege by multiple factions. Sending one soldier, no matter how enhanced, is not strategy, it's sacrifice." A faint smile appeared on Lyara's lips. "Sacrifice," she repeated. "I thought you were the Unbreakable." Murmurs spread across the room. Eric's jaw tightened beneath his helmet. "I am," he said, "but I'm not invincible." Lyara leaned forward slightly, her eyes locking onto his own. "Then perhaps you're not as valuable as we thought." The words hung in the air. Cold, sharp, deliberate. Eric felt something shift inside him. Not anger, not even pain. Something deeper. For years he had fought for Navaris, bled for it, lost comrades, lost pieces of himself, physically and mentally. And yet in this moment, all of it was reduced to a single question of value. He looked around at the chamber. No one spoke. No one defended him. To them, he was just a weapon, and weapons were expendable. The mission began at dawn. Eric descended alone onto the outer colony of Kareth 9, a wasteland of broken structures and burning skies. Enemy forces surrounded the area. Raiders, rogue AI units, and bioengineered beasts that roamed freely. His armor activated instantly, scanning threats, calculating probabilities. "Engage," it whispered in his mind. And he did. The battle was relentless. Eric moved like a storm, his armor adopting with every strike. Bullets bounced off him, energy blasts dispersed against his shield. He tore through enemies with precision and efficiency, a machine of destruction. Hours passed, then days. Still, he fought. But something was different. Each victory felt empty. Each enemy defeated brought no satisfaction, only silence. On the third day, surrounded by the wreckage of yet another battle, Eric paused. His armor flickered slightly. "Warning, energy levels critical," it warned. He ignored it. Instead, he looked at his reflection in a shattered piece of metal. The glowing eyes of his helmet stared back at him. A stranger. A transmission crackled through. "Commander Voss, status report." Eric hesitated, then replied. "Colony secured, threats neutralized." "Good. Proceed to the next sector." No acknowledgement, no gratitude, just another command. That's when it happened. A small group of survivors emerged from the ruins, civilians, weak and frightened. Among them was a child no older than 10, staring at Eric with wide eyes. Are, are you here to save us? The child asked. Eric didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked at his hands, covered in the remnants of battle. Was this saving or just surviving? Behind him, new threats approached. More enemies, more fighting, more orders. And suddenly, "Commander," Lyara's voice returned, sharper now. "Why have you stopped?" Eric stood still, the battlefield frozen around him. "For years," he said quietly, "I've done everything this world asked of me." No response. "I fought your wars, protected your people, became your weapon." The enemies drew closer. His armor urged him to move, to fight, to survive. Then Lyara spoke again. "And you'll continue to do so. That's your purpose." Purpose. The word echoed in his mind, and something inside him broke. Slowly, deliberately, Eric reached for the core of his armor. "Commander, what are you doing?" Lyara demanded. He didn't answer. Instead, he initiated a shutdown sequence. "Warning, armor disengagement will result in vulnerability." "I know," he said. Piece by piece, the armor began to detach. The glowing plates dimmed, the mechanical hum faded, until finally, it fell away completely. For the first time in years, Eric stood without it. Just a man. The enemy stopped, confused, watching, waiting. Lyara's voice was no longer controlled. "Commander, this is an order. Re-engage immediately." Eric looked out at the battlefield, then at the survivors behind him. Then, quietly, he spoke. "No." And with that, he turned and walked away. The enemies didn't attack. They didn't chase. They simply let him go. Days later, news spread across Novaris. Commander Eric Voss had abandoned his post. The unbreakable had walked away. In the royal chamber, Lyara stood alone. For the first time, uncertainty filled her mind. Not because of the war, but because of what she had lost. Because Eric wasn't just a weapon. He had been something more. Something she only realized when it was gone. Far beyond the cities of Novaris, beyond the reach of war and control, Eric walked across a quiet landscape. No armor, no orders, no expectations. Just silence. For the first time in his life, he was free. And sometimes, the strongest thing a person can do is walk away.